Hello everyone, this is Kaustubh here from InsightStat, and welcome to today's video where we are going to talk about editing and managing relationships inside the data model. Now in our previous sessions we talked about how to connect these different tables. Now what if we want to edit these relationships? We want to make some changes in these relationships. How do we go about doing that? So in order to do that, in order to manage these relationships, or if you want to delete our relationships, you want to come up with a new relationship, all you have to do, it's very simple. All you have to do is click on this relationship. For example, let's say I'm talking about the calendar lookup and the sales data table. I click on this relationship and all I have to do is delete. This will delete the existing relationship between these two tables. Again, now if I want to come up with a relationship, we already know this. All I have to do is drag the date column from here and hover it over the order date and just leave it. And then this dialog box will open and we'll just click on save. Right? Okay. So this is how we delete or add a new relationship. What if I want to add another relationship between two tables over and above the existing relationship? For example, remember we talked about the date column and the stop date. Now I want to add this relationship to the relationship between the two tables. Again, the same thing. I click and drag and I hover over stop date and I leave it just like that. And there is this relationship. It's a one-to-many relationship. Everything else is fine. And look at this. There's an option here. Make this relationship active. Okay, we'll talk about this. So when I click on save, look at this. There is a dotted relationship between the date and the stop date. This is a dotted relationship, which means this relationship is not active. Now please remember, between two tables there can be only one active relationship, one relationship that can be enforced. You cannot enforce more than one relationship. So what do? If I now want to enforce the relationship between date and stop date and not date and order date, all I have to do is first I have to click on the first relationship, that is the date and order date. Look at this. When I go to properties, it shows my order date and date being related, and all I have to do is not make this relationship active. So make this relationship active. I'll switch it off, and then when I apply changes, look at this. Now I have two dotted relationships, right? None of the relationships are active. I need to have one active relationship between the two tables. So I click on this again. This is the new relationship between date and stop date, and I say make this relationship active, and I apply changes. That's all I need to do, right? But in this case, the relationship between date and stop date does not make sense. So we will switch it off, apply changes, and I'll go back to my original relationship between date and order date. And there you go. This relationship is active. So you can have multiple relationships between tables, and basis the analysis you are doing, sometimes you need to switch relationships between the tables, and this is how you do it. Okay. Now, one more additional thing that I want to talk about is, if I scroll towards the right here, look at this. Remember these tables? Sales data 2020, 2021, 2022. We merged these three tables and came up with the sales data table. Now these tables are still there in my data model, and I do not want them to show in my data model. I want this sales data table, but I don't want these three tables. Now, if I delete these three tables, I cannot delete it from the, I won't delete it from the data model. I'll go to transform data. Now, if I try and delete one of these tables, let's say this table, and let's say I will delete. Now it will throw me a warning. It says the query sales data 2020 cannot be deleted because it's being referenced by another query, that is sales data. So it won't let me delete because my sales data table is dependent on this table. It's dependent on 2021, is dependent on 2022. So I won't be able to delete. But I don't want to see these tables in my data model. So what do I do? What I can do here is I can put these three tables in a group. I can say, I can call this group a year-wise sales. Okay, so it goes here, and then I can say, look at this enable load. It's checked. If I uncheck this, look at this, disabling load will remove the table from the report, and any visuals that use its columns will be broken. Now we have not used this table in any of the reports, so it's safe for us to do it. So I'll click on continue. Similarly for 2021, continue. Similarly for 2022, continue. Right? So now if I close and apply, it will apply the changes. Look at this. Now I do not have those three tables, unwanted tables, in my data model, and my sales data table is still intact. So this is how you would want to remove unwanted tables from your data model, from showing up in your data model, and you do not see those tables anywhere in the data view as well. Right? As long as those tables are not being referenced by any visuals, we have not used it in any visuals, so that's absolutely fine. So that's all I had in this video. So we talked about how to manage relationships between tables, how to edit relationships, delete relationships, and come up with more than one relationship between two tables, and about active and inactive relationships, and how to uh, delete or how to make tables inactive in the data model. Right, so thank you so much for watching this video. I'll see you guys in the next video. And if you did like this video, please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.